Hello, everyone. This is Jeff Cowan coming to you from Jeff Cowan's Pro Talk. Welcome back to my weekly podcast entitled Write Service, Write Your Own Paycheck, The Path to Making $100,000 a Year While Writing Service in the Automotive Industry, because 20% of you that are watching this right now are making at least that much. The average one of you is making $65,000 a year. What a place to have a career, right? I mean, this is the easiest hard money you're ever going to make, or the hardest easy money you're ever going to make. Isn't that right? Well, I want to talk to you today about a topic that's near and dear to my heart, and that is training. All right, now, obviously, I'm into training. That's what these podcasts are about. Obviously, I'm into training because I own not one, but two training companies. Obviously, I'm into training because I write training books, training videos, training audio tapes, DVDs, and the like, so I like training. Now, the problem, though, is that there's a lot of people out there that I think also like training. They understand the value of training, but they overcomplicate it. When you say training, I think immediately they pop into their mind classes they went to. Boy, training, it's going to take hours for me to do training. I don't have days to training, whatever. So they overcomplicate it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a method that I've used my entire lifetime, and I still use up to this very day, where I train daily for just 15 minutes a day. Now, I know that you're very, very busy, especially when you're writing service, and you say, man, where do I find an extra 15 minutes? You can find 15 minutes. I mean, if it's going to help advance your career, and it's going to allow you to have perfect survey scores, which is going to affect your income, allow you to have customer retention above 85%, which is going to affect your income, and allows you to maximize the sales that you have, making sure that you can make the most amount of money possible. You don't have 15 minutes a day to do that? When I read stats where 80% of salespeople out there, which includes advisors, have never read a sales book from cover to cover, it sickens me. I mean, really, this is how you feed your kids and take care of yourself, right? But I want this to be a negative thing. I want it to be positive, because for just 15 minutes a day, and when you start what I'm getting ready to show you, I'm going to admit, it may take longer than 15 minutes until you get used to it, but once you get into this, within 3 or 4 days, it won't take you any more than 15 minutes. Now, let me tell you where I like to do mine. I like to do mine first thing in the morning. I'm an early riser, always have been. I still am. Well, that's not true. I've not always been. There was a time in my life when getting up at 1 o'clock in the afternoon would have been early. But today, I'm an early riser. I'm out of bed by 4:30. I feed the dogs. Usually takes me up to 4:45, and from 4:45 until 5 o'clock, there, give or take, that's when I review training. And so that's the time to do it. You could take 15 minutes time at lunch. You could take 15 minutes when you get home. Or how about this? When you sit down to binge watch those 6 episodes of whatever on Netflix tonight, what if you just do 5? Just a thought. All right, so here's what you're going to do. You're going to take 15 minutes. This is easy. Okay, so there's 5 steps. Number 1, 5 steps. And how to train daily for 15 minutes. We can call it the 5 R's of training if you want to. 15 minutes. Here's number 1, the first R. Relax. I think what happens is we forget to relax when we're in training. We get all uptight about it. We get all high-strung, and we get and you just relax. I mean, get yourself in the mindset of, let's say that you're going to be reading a book. Let's say we're going to do that. Get yourself in the mindset you do when you read a book that you're excited about. Like if you're reading a biography about your favorite rock star, you're reading a biography about your favorite public figure, or you're reading a book about something that you're really, really interested in. You know how excited you get? I mean, you get the book out, right? And you go get your most comfortable chair, you get in comfortable clothing, you get whatever it is you're going to drink sitting beside you, you get the music and the lights just right, and you get relaxed in your mind, and you actually get excited about it. Well, same thing with training. I mean, this should be something that you enjoy, because this is just not for entertainment value. This is going to help you be the best you can be. It's going to help you maximize the opportunity that you face every day, and that should get you excited, and it should make you relaxed, because it's going to give you the confidence to know that you're prepared for anything, because that's what training does. It prepares you for anything that you may encounter today, and the more prepared you are, the more successful you're going to be. The more situations you're prepared for, the more successful you're going to be. So this should be seen as something that's fun, relaxed, and something you get excited about. So the first R is relax. Get yourself in that mindset. The second R, read. Okay, now when you read, watch, or listen, okay, however you do your training, I prefer reading, and I'll tell you why. When you have a book, you can underline, you can highlight, and you can take notes, and it's easier to reference than if you have to go through a video, you have to go through audio, or that type of stuff. So I like to read, but you can watch or listen if you want, because occasionally I will watch a video and count it, occasionally I will do audio and whatever, but most of the time I read. Okay? Now, when you're reading what you're reading, or you're watching what you're watching, or you're listening to what you're listening to, focus on it. Clear your mind. Now, you're supposed to be relaxed, okay? So in the morning, for like me, I fed the dogs, they're taken care of. They've already moved over to their beds, they're laying down, right? Okay, the wife's still not up, the house is quiet, so I can really focus on what it is that I'm reading. So that's the second R. So you're going to relax, and then you're going to read, and you're going to focus on what it is that you're reading. Number 3, this is important. Okay, once you get through reading what you're going to read. Now, let me stop before I get to number 3. When you read, I think sometimes we sit down and we see a whole chapter in a book, and we say, man, if I read this whole chapter, this is going to take me 25, 30 minutes, and then do the other steps he's got. Now we're looking at an hour, and that's where I run into the problem. No, but who said you had to read the whole chapter? Who said you had to read the whole chapter? I mean, take it, if you want to put a time limit on it, but because we're talking 15 minutes here total for all these steps, put a 10-minute limit on it, so you can do these other steps that are involved here, or put a 5-minute limit on it. Read not 1 or 2 chapters. Read 1 or 2 paragraphs. That's all you have to do. I mean, just read what you're comfortable with, and you don't have to limit this to 15 minutes. I'm just trying to make it easy. If you want to spend an hour doing it, you can, because many mornings I do spend a half hour, 45 minutes, partly because I enjoy it, partly because it's my job. All right, but number 3. So number 1 was we're going to relax and we're going to read it. Number 3, reflect. Reflect on what you just read. What was the message? What was the real message that was being conveyed with what it was you just read? Was it a motivational message? Was it a sales tactic? Was it a word track? What was the purpose of the word track? Okay, reflect on what the message was. And then while you're doing that, don't look at reasons why it won't work. Don't look for reasons why it'd be hard to work. Figure out how you can use it with what you do today, because selling is selling. I really believe this. I really believe if you can sell one product, you have the basic selling skills, you can apply those skills to any other product. So how can you use this with what you have? So when you're reflecting, what was this real message, and where in my presentation, where throughout my day in the follow-up, where and with what it is I do, where would I be able to use this, and how would it fit in with what I already used? So relax, read, reflect. Now we're ready for 4 and 5, but before we do that, got to do my commercial. We got this book over here, Right Service, Write Your Own Paycheck. Now, you got to get this book. Guys, gals, if you're watching this, get the book. I mean, it's got everything in there to show you how to get to $100,000 a year. And if you're not making $100,000 a year, like 80% of you watching this are not, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want to maximize the opportunity? If you're going to be there for crying out loud 10 hours a day, why not maximize the opportunity? This book will do that. There's actually a video program to go with that. Maybe you like the industry. Maybe you know somebody that's graduating high school. They don't have a career path. Maybe they're graduating college and they're not happy with what they've done. Or maybe you know somebody that's getting back in the workforce after being out of it for a while, or they want to change positions. Get them this book. This is a great graduation present, by the way. Over the last several years, I've taken many friends of mine who have kids graduating from high school. They're not going to college, they don't know what they're going to do, and I've shown them how to write service, and at the ages of 18, 19, 20, they're knocking out $65,000, $70,000 a year like that. That book will show you how to do that. You can get it at Amazon.com. You can also get it at Jeff Cowan's Pro Talk. It's actually going to be AutomotiveServiceTraining.com, AutomotiveServiceTraining.com. There's a video program to go with that as well if you really want to step up and give that as a gift, or get it for yourself. Why not, right? Also, I got another book here we just put out called What I've Learned from Attending Over 35 Indy 500s. Now, this is good for anybody, whether you're in sales or not. This is good for anybody because it's got lessons in sales, motivation, leadership, management, and life in general. This book is doing very, very well. You can get it at Amazon.com or at our website, AutomotiveServiceTraining.com. Both the books come in hardcover, softcover, and are available for download on your tablet. This book here would be great for you managers and business owners to look at. You're always looking for books that you can share with your staffs, where you read a chapter and then you discuss it, and then you read a next chapter over the next week and come back and discuss it once a week. Great book for that. Many, many people doing that. They're loving the lessons in it and the stories and whatnot. Since this is my Service Advisor podcast, I want to make you aware that I'm going to be in Washington, D.C. here coming up, and I'm also going to be in Toronto. I'm going to be teaching the 2-day class. Now, D.C.'s coming up real soon here, the 16th and 17th of May. We have a few seats left. Get signed up for that. If you've not seen one of my workshops, you will be amazed at what you learn. You'll be amazed at how when you walk out of that class, how prepared you will be to maximize opportunities. It's the first step to making $100,000 a year. How do you get signed up? Call 1-800-248-2931, 1-800-248-2931, and tell them Jeff sent you. Anybody picks up that phone, here's what I'm going to do. If you call and mention the podcast, you call and mention the podcast, you call and mention the podcast regarding the workshop, I'm going to give you half off, okay? Because we've only got, what is it we've got here? Here it is. We've only got 10 seats left. 10 seats left. You call up, I just want to fill it up and close it out so I can get done with it. Wait a minute. We got enough 5 here. We got 15 seats left. 15 seats left. I'm going to give it to you half off. Half off because I just want to close this one out and move on. I'm also going to be in Toronto in the fall, so call us up and get signed up for that. Back to this. All right, so training for 15 minutes. What we're going to do is we're going to relax, get in the right state of mind. We're going to get excited about this, just like we're reading about something like one of our hobbies. All right, so we can be open to it. All right, it should be fun. You're learning stuff. It's going to help you make more money, have better lifestyle. When you're reading it, you're going to focus on what it is you're reading. That's all you're doing. We're not worried about the dogs. We're not worried about the kids. We're not worried about the spouse. We're not worried about work. We're focusing on what we got here. Number 3, we're going to reflect on what we just read, because whether it's a chapter or a couple of paragraphs from a chapter or a technique or whatever, we're going to reflect on it. What was the message? What was it trying to say? How is that going to help me? How can I use that in my presentation? We're now ready for number 4, which is to record. Remember, we got 5 R's. Relax, read, reflect. The 4th R is record. Now, what do I mean record? Write notes. Write lots of notes. These sales books, underline them. If you look at mine, I underline, you highlight. I make notes off to the side. Make notes, okay? Make notes so you can remember. If you really want to learn something, the absolute best way to really internalize it is write it down. Every book that I read, I always have a stack of 3x5 index cards that I write notes on. So then what happens is when I read a chapter and then 2 weeks pass, I don't have to go back and read that. I just, every day I get through reading, I go through this little stack I've got on that book, which reminds me what I'm learning from that book, and I carry it around with me until I complete the book, and then that way I can just keep going over it. Remember this, remember this, remember this. So you're going to record, you're going to make lots of notes, and I'll tell you what lots of notes does too. It actually will create a history of your career. Now, since I've always done this, I like to do this from time to time. I'll be in the office and I'll look back. Look at some of the books and I'll go pick them up, and I've always got the note cards real close to them. And it's interesting, 20 years ago I was reading this and I was doing this and I was working on this part of my presentation, or 5 years ago I was interested in this and whatnot. So you're going to record. So we got 5 R's here. Relax, we're going to read, we're going to reflect, we're going to record, write notes, and then number 5, the final one, role play. Role play. Role play, role play. Boy, you've heard me talk about this a lot, but you need to practice, drill, and rehearse. Okay, so you just learned a new technique. You just learned something new. It's something that you physically can say, or something that there's an action. Role play it. Practice, drill, rehearse. Practice, drill, rehearse. Practice, drill, rehearse. If it's something on the phone, practice, drill, rehearse. If it's something you're going to do with a customer, practice, drill, rehearse. Practice, drill, rehearse. So you're ready to go when it comes time. It's one thing to have the knowledge. Okay, when you learn a new technique, it's another thing to know when to use that knowledge. It's another one to be prepared to use that knowledge. It's a totally different thing to be prepared and be able to execute it flawlessly. And you get that way by practice, drilling, and rehearsing. Okay, and you know what? It's great. I love role playing because I make mistakes when there's no commission online. So when the commission is online, I don't make mistakes and I maximize the opportunity. So if you're one of these people and you've been, you want to train, you buy into the training thing, but you just don't have an hour or two a day to put into it, you don't have a day to put into it, you don't have 2 or 3 hours a week to put into it, this is the best way to go. We're talking about something here that takes about 15 minutes. You're gonna take that 15 minutes, it's gonna be yours, you're gonna be in a quiet place. You get yourself in a relaxed state of mind, so you're excited about what you're getting ready to read. You're going to read it. You're going to focus on what you're reading, whether that's a whole chapter or part of a chapter or a couple of paragraphs. You're going to reflect on what you just read. You're going to reflect on it. What was the message? What is it they're trying to show me here? And how can I use that with what I do? Then you're going to make notes about that. And I suggest you put them on little 3x5 cards. So every day, you can read through those cards as you get a stack. I'm reading a book right now, and I've got about 15 of these notes, and I'm only through the second chapter. And so when I get through reading, then what I do is I just go over all those notes that I saw previously. It adds a couple minutes, but it keeps it fresh in my mind. And then after I record it, I'm going to role play it. 15 minutes a day, folks. That's all we're talking about. That 15 minutes a day. I'll tell you what. I'll step up and tell you this. I will guarantee you, if you take the 15 minutes to relax, read, reflect, record, and role play, and do everything I said along those ways with the little note cards and everything, I will guarantee you your income, your personal income will increase by at least 5%. Extremely conservative number, will increase by 5%. Everybody's got 15 minutes a day to train. Everybody's got 15 minutes to be the best they can be. That's what I'm promoting here. Training doesn't have to be a big deal. It can be something very simple like I'm discussing here. As a matter of fact, it will probably become one of the most not only most important times of your day, but one of the parts of the day you get most excited about. I mean, it really gets me excited to get out of bed to do this because it's quiet, just me. I love it. Hey, my name is Jeff Cowan. I'm coming to you from Jeff Cowan's Pro Talk. I hope you enjoyed today's message. I'd welcome you to email me, text me if you got ideas for meetings, something you want to talk about, comments about what you've seen. Call me anytime, text me. I'm always around and would love to talk to you. If I'm not around, I'll call you back in 24 hours. Buy the books. We talked to you about that, but we got one more thing for you to do. I got an assignment for you. Here's what I want you to do. It's the same one I give you every week. I want you to go and get as many customers as you can and get them excited about your product, to the point, service advisors, where they're willing to give you a perfect score, because if they give you a perfect survey score, it means they're coming back. So now you've got the retention. If they're coming back, that means they're buying. If they're buying, that means you're maximizing the opportunity. You're making the maximum amount of commission, and you are going to have the lifestyle that you so deserve and that you want so bad. Now, I can tell you this, between now and next week, that's exactly what I'm going to go do. I'm going to find as many prospects and get them excited about my products, and I'm going to close them on it, and I'm going to collect the commission and have a great life. I'm already having a great life. You come and join the club. It's called the Great Life Club. If nothing else, come back next Thursday for our next podcast. I'll see you then, folks. Make it a great one.